So the other day, using Lockheed Martin's SR-72, which is his futuristic son of the SR-71, the Blackbird, its statistics and of course the globe mathematics, I annihilated the globe. Literally annihilated it. You could say Lockheed Martin flattened the globe. Now what makes this even worse is the feeble response from the globe believers online to try and somehow refute the demolition job this SR-72 did on the globe. Bear with me. Just to remind ourselves, I used the SR-72 as an example, flew it at top speed, used 2 points of reference, point A being the start of the journey, point B being the finish of the journey, or the end of the journey, which was at 60 minutes, an hour. It was an hour's flight we're interested in. I wanted to know how much curve this plane had to deal with according to the globe mathematics over the course of an hour. And it turns out when this plane flies at full speed, it has to deal with a ludicrous amount of curve, which turns out to be 2,108 miles of curve or drop, according to the globe maths, between the 2 points of reference, A and B. A being the start of the journey, B being the finish of the journey 60 minutes later. Think about that. 2,108 miles of curve or drop, according to the globe maths. Now let's have a look now at the the attempts to try and justify this to globe believers, okay? And of course, I know, and I've stated many times, according to the globe fantasy, the plane is simulating, according to them, the curve of globe Earth, okay? But that is their supposed level on a ball. Ridiculous, we know, scientifically impossible, as all large standing bodies of water tell us. But let's have a look at what has come back from these people as far as justification or trying to refute the examples I've used using the SR-72 and the globe mathematics. And what they've cited is just as if the video itself regarding the stats, the speed wasn't bad enough. Look what has been cited. Let's not forget our ballpark figure of 2,108 miles of curve this plane has to encounter over the space of an hour, okay? First up, we got this genius.
Each of the dots between point A and point B represents an imaginary marker 5 miles off the surface of the Earth. That's just an arbitrary figure. Doesn't make any difference how high it is. So we start at point A and we go through the little black dots to point B on a steady curve.
That's correct. That's exactly what I've stated. And between those 2 points of reference, my dear boy, is a curvature difference of 2,108 miles, according to your cannonball world. And that was the whole point of the video, son.
That's what happens. Nobody but you is suggesting we do what you can see in this diagram, where you fly straight out.
So matey has to now present what I highlighted in my video as some sort of stairway to heaven. Nah, mate. I was highlighting the absurdity of the globe Earth using its own mathematics and the SR-72. No one mentioned silly flight paths like that, son. Only you, or your warped interpretation of what I was saying. Between the 2 points of reference, there's a difference of 2,108 miles of curve. That's the whole point of the video, son. The fact you can't address that, you've got to draw lines like a stairway on there, and can't address the fact that this video, the SR-72 I should say, and the video presented, link in the description if you haven't seen it, annihilates your fantasy world. Rather than show some honesty and address that, you just make shit up. I'd love to know where he got that step idea from. Bless him. Let's just remind ourselves, top right, 2,108 miles of curve need to be taken into account over the course of an hour between those 2 points of reference. That is always going to be the ballpark figure that needs to be accounted for, okay? Now we're going to go to a conversation, very short conversation, that sums up the globe argumentation best. Essentially, we've got myself here Breaking down what I've just shown you there, the globe argument is simply the plane only has to deal with 8 inches per mile every mile that it's curving with the plane, all the way from point A to point B, all the way across the journey, just dealing with 8 inches per mile. That's what the globe argument they're stating. That's what this fella, who's posing as a level earther, and he may well be, and that's what he's trying to state. But let me just read this comment, or 2 comments. It's all based on 1 hour's travel broken down from there. If you do it your way, which is the 8 inches per mile, you'll hardly encounter any supposed curve over an hour. You'll literally be flattening the curve. The globe states there should be 2,108 miles of curve between those 2 points of reference. I need to see a breakdown showing 1 hour, 1 minute and 1 second, highlighting the curve at each of those points of reference. And the figures need to match the globe mathematics, which of course is 2,108 miles of curve over the course of 1 hour. But matey, and the globe argument is, the plane's flying at 4,000 miles an hour, 8 inches per mile, well it's flying faster than that, but he's given us a basic, equals 2,666 feet of curvature per hour. That's what he's saying, and that's what the globe argument is, i.e. it's just doing 8 inches per mile every mile, skimming over the globe surface. The problem is, lads, 2,666 feet, what is that? That's half a mile of curve. So the globe argument is to literally flatten their model to only half a mile of curve, when there should be really 2,108 miles of curve. Can you now see the lunacy of the globe argument? It's either make shit up and draw stairways on a globe, or flatten your own model and try and be a little bit cunning by saying it's 8 inches per mile every mile. The problem is, you're 2,107.5 miles of missing curve. You've literally flattened your own model. Like I always have said, the bottom line is, the ballpark figure is 2,108 miles of curve need to be counted for. Any other figures that don't add up to that are obviously nonsense according to the globe model. And every fast plane, when put against the globe mathematics, highlights the absurdity of the globe model. And even the globe argumentation, if you can call it that, highlights the absurdity of it all. They just make shit up, or flatten their own model and deny their own mathematics and curve. Dear, oh dear, oh dear.